Nature is mysterious. Sometimes it can be inconvenient to deal with common forms of precipitation like rain, snow, and hail. What would you do if fish, spiders, or anything that looked like blood began to shower down from the sky? The most unusual objects to ever fall from the sky are collected here. After we thought the world couldn't get any strange, it slapped us over the head with a fish. If you are not a fan of strange objects falling from the sky, you would be terrified. Here are some amazing things that have fallen from the sky, from falling snakes to rain blood. You are in for a surprise. Keep watching to see some of the strangest things that have dropped out of the sky. Fish. Fish can either swim in the air or plummet to the ground. There's a perfectly scientific explanation for the seemingly strange occurrence of fish raining down from the sky. Waterspouts form during severe weather along the shore like miniature tornadoes and may literally drain lakes and oceans of their aquatic life. The wind will blow the fish inland and eventually crash into the earth. At least 3 countries, Sri Lanka, Australia, and Mexico, reported it as recently as 2017, in cases when the fish are edible. Locals may even celebrate the fish rain as a blessing. In fact, at least once a year, the residents of Yoro, a small community in Honduras, enjoy the lluvia de peces, or shower of fish. Here are some weather-related urban legends that you may safely disregard. Frogs. Waterspouts can also kill frogs, which might come as a shock to people living on land. Frogs and toads have been said to fall from the sky in both historical and contemporary accounts. There have been times when so many frogs fall from the sky that the houses and the roads have been full of them, as described by ancient Greek philosopher Heraclides Lembas. In 2005, residents of Odzati, Serbia witnessed thousands of tiny frogs descend with passing storm clouds. Animals will either perish after a long fall or adapt to their new environment by hopping and strolling. Locals in Serbia, for example, said that slain frogs just hopped away in search of a drink. Check out the weirdest animal in each state for more unusual wildlife. Iguanas. The iguanas that have fallen from the skies have avoided waterspouts, unlike their amphibious relatives. This scientific phenomenon may be considerably stranger than we think. The iguana rain was a bizarre side effect of the 2018 winter bomb cyclone that slammed southern Florida. The extreme cold rendered the cold-blooded organisms absolutely inert. They were technically still alive, but exhibited no signs of life. They lost their ability to cling to branches and fell from their trees, startling many Floridians. Educate yourself on the scientific explanations for even more strange occurrences. Balls for golf. You may have heard stories about golf ball-sized hail, but what about actual golf balls? Reports from 1969 indicate that dozens of these objects fell from the sky at Punta Gorda, Florida. Even worse, not a single golf ball has been reported missing from any of the area courses. Although it was never definitively proven, the widespread belief among golf professionals was that a waterspout was responsible for collecting all of the golf balls that had been hit into the water by careless players. Spiders. The terrifying spectacle of a downpour of spiders, which is not as rare as arachnophobes might think. It's something that can happen. Where else? Australia experienced this in 2015, and Brazil experienced it just this year, 2019. However, spiders were not uprooted from their habitats like fish and frogs are. Instead, the spider's ability to create filaments with which to balloon into the air is the cause of the resulting spider rains. They frequently do this in an effort to ride a wind current to a new site. You may not be complaining, but you may be curious as to why spider rains aren't more common. That's because mass occurrences of this behavior among spiders are quite rare. If you want a mass ballooning that results in spider rain, you need absolutely ideal weather conditions. There are few more troubling truths than the possibility that it could actually rain spiders, and most people would prefer to believe that this impossible scenario never actually occurs. Supplements for coffee. When the non-dairy creamer Cremora was made in South Carolina in 1969, the factory had trouble with faulty air vents. Due to the blocked vents, the powdery substance leaked into the air and eventually dropped as a gloppy mass on the South Carolina town of Chester. Borden, the manufacturer of Cremora, was fined $4,000 in 1991 for permitting the product to be removed from the plant. Get the lowdown on some even stranger forms of nature. Meat. What if cloudy with a chance of meatballs actually happened? Just barely. It's safe to say that you wouldn't want to consume this meat rain, which consisted more of large meat chunks than smaller ones. Or maybe you wouldn't. Two locals near Olympian Springs, Kentucky, in 1876 did attempt a bite of the mysterious flakes of flesh that appeared to rain down from the sky. They said it had a flavor similar to mutton or venison. A chemistry professor asserted that the best explanation was that a group of vultures was dropping or disgorging its current meal, albeit this was never verified. Money. After all, we've learned about spiders in need. We'll pick this one over any other any day. There have been other instances of money raining down from the sky, some of which occurred relatively recently. In 2015, for instance, the city of Kuwait was showered in hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of currency from the United Arab Emirates. In 2018, some of the gold and diamonds aboard a Serbian airliner were lost after it landed on the runway. Back in the United States, an electrician in Indianapolis in 2017 witnessed a similar phenomenon, with roughly $200 worth of bills blowing off a roof where you work. Sometimes the source of the money is never discovered, leaving locals and law officials in the dark, as happened in Kuwait and Indianapolis. Rogue space debris. This one makes a little more sense, since it stands to reason that space debris would float through the atmosphere. The many satellites and other technology in orbit occasionally lose momentum and fall to Earth. For example, Tiangong-1, a full-scale replica of a space station, is currently in free fall into the planet's surface. Most machinery doesn't make it through re-entry into the atmosphere without shattering into bits, so the falling debris doesn't threaten anyone on the ground. According to Live Shines, your chances of being injured by a meteor or other piece of space junk are astronomically small, but winning the Powerball is 1,000,000 times more likely. Or you could sit back and hope it starts raining cash. Find out more about the definition of space garbage, possibly blood. Despite its similarities to a scene from The Purge, a real-life blood shower occurred in Zamora, located in northwestern Spain. The citizens of Zamora were left wondering what had caused the mysterious red liquid to descend from the sky. As it happens, red rains are a very normal occurrence. Scientists believe spores of a microalgae plant, which produces a red pigment when under stress, became stuck in rain clouds, giving the clouds their distinctive red hue. However, experts are baffled about how these microbes made their way to the region above Zamora, as they are not endemic to that part of Spain. This is not blood, which is somewhat encouraging, but the image is nonetheless unsettling. It turns out that even common rain has its own interesting side. Here are some things you might not have known about rain. Do like, share, and subscribe, and tell us in the comments below whether you know any other strange things that have fallen out of the sky. See you in the next video.